Well, Marco said it at the top of the show. We told you about the best of the best from IndyCar, from NASCAR, from sports car racing. All the international stars are here, and the very best of the best are going to be in the cars, door to door, wheel to wheel, nose to tail, for the next hour and 43 minutes. You won't want to miss a minute of it. Stay with us.
The drive that fuels the WeatherTech racing team is the same that drives us to make the highest quality automotive accessories. WeatherTech, driven to perform.
Come in.
Got the coffee?
That was fast.
We're out of here.
Golden Corral just passed America's Family Budget Act. Right now, kids eat for just $2.99 Monday through Thursday. It's a great value, perfect for your family budget. This is Golden Corral's non-stop, endless family favorite. And right now, that includes our new incredibly delicious, juicy sirloin filet cooked the way you want. And our mouth-watering, non-stop butterfly shrimp. And don't forget our amazing desserts. It's America's Family Budget Act, giving you the right to an amazing meal, only at Golden Corral.
From Maine to Maui, thousands of high school students across the country are getting in on the action by volunteering in their communities.
It's great helping others, and it feels good too. Are you in? Whoa!
Anyone can do it. All it takes is a little time. Are you in?
Action teams of high school students are joining Volunteers of America and Major League Baseball players to help train and inspire the next generation of volunteers.
It's easy to start an action team at your school, so you too can get in on the action.
Are you in? Get in on the action at actionteam.org.
Monster Energy Supercross Anaheim, Saturday, 10:30 Eastern, live on Speed.
February 8th, Speed presents a historic event as the newest class of the NASCAR Hall of Fame is enshrined. Buck Baker, Cotton Owens, Herb Thomas, Rusty Wallace, and Leonard Wood take their places among the sport's greatest legends. The NASCAR Hall of Fame induction ceremony is February 8th, live here on Speed. Well, the trophy and presumably the Rolex watches are over there at Daytona's world-famous Victory Lane. All we need to do now is to decide who's taking them home.
Pablo Montoya now behind the wheel of the 01 machine. He has been sensational throughout the course of this 24-hour race. We talked about it at the beginning. We questioned the decision by the Ganassi Group to put JPM behind the wheel of their championship car, the one that's going for points all season long. Well, Timmy Keane said, I have belief in Juan. He is one of the fastest guys in the business. I can handle him. I can manage him. And Dorsey, so far, so good.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. And like you said, we both looked at each other when that was the case. And because the record that Juan Pablo has not been a clean one as far as sports car racing. He's been very aggressive and has gotten in some trouble.
There's your leader in GT. The Porsche of Nicholas Armindo, the Magnus Racing Machine, hoping to go back-to-back at the Rolex 24 in class.
Sure, that spoiler damage you're looking at there, that's the only damage this car sustained throughout the entire event. They've had several occasions of having to put that back on, but short of that, it's been perfect.
I'm not sure. There was a general problem with the Porsche a couple of years ago with that front splitter design, which seemed like they got on top of. So I'm not sure if the car did have an off at some point that has caused this particular car to have these continuous problems. But this one's been on there for a while. A lot of duct tape, as you can see, kind of holding it in position. But the car is playing fast. I mean, they've got track position. They have the lead. They're about 6 laps different on strategy. They're going to pit about 6 laps before the Ferrari of Anthony Lazzaro that currently runs in second spot. But even so, I think all of these GT cars will need 2 more stops to get to the finish anyway, so it shouldn't be a big issue. If you were doing it on 1 less stop, then yes. But if everyone's doing 2, one may be a bit shorter than the other guys, but they're going to need 2 trips down pit lane.
Clint Boyer and Michael Waltrip laying back, watching the telecast. Look pretty relaxed.
He looks pretty stressed, doesn't he?
Yeah, very.
He's a cool guy.
I think what happens on these Porsche splitters is once you've torn one off of there, it opens up the holes, elongates the holes, and then the fasteners just don't want to keep them up in there, particularly when you're slamming across the infield curbs like down here in the bus stop. That's really rough down there when it gets dug out. And that's usually around the 5th lap.
Here comes the second place car in GT, Anthony Lazzaro, the Ferrari 458 Italia.
He's had 2 class wins here at Daytona before, and this is his first full season of sports car racing since 2003, believe it or not. And here we see a caution. Now, this will be a change-up. 1 hour 36 to go. You're going to burn a little time off that clock before we can actually open pit lane, and then we get to the point where most of these cars...
Showing a debris flag right there and or oil flag, and that means it's down by turn 1.
I think you're going to see a lot of people take the opportunity to pit, then they should be able to do it on 1 more. Split the difference, 45-minute stint. They'll be good to go at that point.
15th full course caution of this year's Rolex 24. We'll be right back. The plot thickens.
They're coming out of the hills to conquer the world.
You think your little Euro trash ride could beat my American muscle?
John Reap and his Mullet Mafia pit muscle against import in an epic 3-round battle for a $10,000 paycheck.
He's going to ram that American muscle all the way down your throat.
Don't mess with rednecks, man.
Are you faster than a redneck?
Bring it on.
Catch a special preview after the trucks race, February 22nd, only on Speed.
15 manufacturers, 24 races, 162 race cars, 489 drivers, over 100,000 laps, nearly 300,000 miles. One tire manufacturer. Continental Tire. Innovative technology, driving confidence.
Feeling buried by all the piles of paper in your home or office? Maybe it's time you traded in the old filing cabinet for a new office assistant. Meet the Neat Desk Scanner and Organizer, the only scanner that actually thinks while it scans. With Neat Desk, all your important documents can be easily scanned and then organized with the NeatWorks software. So that shoebox full of receipts instantly becomes a manageable expense report. That stack of business cards can go directly into your computer's contact list. Virtually any piece of paper automatically becomes a searchable document that you can find with a simple keyword. And here's the best part. If you call or visit us at tryneat.com right now, you can try the Neat Desk or the amazing Neat Portable Scanner for 30 days absolutely free. We'll even pay for the return postage if you decide to send it back. That's how confident we are that you'll love your Neat Organizer. So give us a call or go to tryneat.com for your 30-day free trial and say goodbye to all that paper. Feeling buried by all the piles of paper in your home or office? Maybe it's time you traded in the old filing cabinet for a new office assistant. Meet the Neat Desk Scanner and Organizer, the only scanner that actually thinks while it scans. With Neat Desk, all your important documents can be easily scanned and then organized with the NeatWorks software. So that shoebox full of receipts instantly becomes a manageable expense report. That stack of business cards can go directly into your computer's contact list. Virtually any piece of paper automatically becomes a searchable document that you can find with a simple keyword. And here's the best part. If you call or visit us at tryneat.com right now, you can try the Neat Desk or the amazing Neat Portable Scanner for 30 days absolutely free. We'll even pay for the return postage if you decide to send it back. That's how confident we are that you'll love your Neat organizer. So give us a call or go to tryneat.com for your 30-day free trial and say goodbye to all that paper.
Daytona and Indianapolis, the two American cities whose identity is wrapped up in racing. Here at Daytona, it began with the machines designed to take the world land speed record. The cars running on the hard-packed sand with the Atlantic in the background. But in 1958, action moved inland to the magnificence of the Daytona International Speedway. It was a track designed for speed, with 31-degree banks that overnight became the track's signature. The first 24-hour race was held in 1966, creating what is informally known as the Triple Crown of endurance racing: Daytona, Sebring, Le Mans.
And welcome to the first leg of that Triple Crown. Now just an hour and 32 minutes from completion. We are under our 15th full course caution. The pits are not yet open, so let's take a look at some more of the highlights of this year's Rolex 24. Hurley Haywood is Grand Marshal, honoring the 40th anniversary of his first victory in this race. Gave the command to start engines. Problems for Scott Dixon in the 02 car. They would persist for the Ganassi team, but Scott Pruitt able to get away well.
You know, GT Polster and Nick Tandy had problems with the 32 Porsche. Hit the tire barrier pretty hard in turn 6. Then you can see the damage. Took several laps to fix here in pit lane. Then a big moment in this race. Defending champions A.J. Allmendinger behind the wheel. Suspension issue. Took 7 laps to fix. But now they are in the mix for victory here today.
Since the 00, one of the very first of the Sky Active diesel power cars to have trouble. They fixed it. It broke down again. Then the mothership of all of them. And of course, that's Sylvain Tremblay, Speed Source Mazda, and it is out of the race.
All part of the new GX class for alternative technology cars, pretty much dominated by that number 16 Porsche Cayman from Napleton of Illinois. Another example of problems as the teams adjust to new procedures for restarts, pit lane, speeding, and things like that. Fortunately, very little damage as a result of all the confusion.
Cut tire on the 80 car sends him for a wild ride coming off a NASCAR 2. He recovered, no one else involved, and then further problems for a Porsche in the number 68. He had several moments down here. Narrow escape for the number 3 F-Star DP.
The bus stop got really slippery, as you can see right there, catching more than a few cars off.
Biggie went for a ride, then as the Turner one that did Daytona prototypes, narrowly missing the tire wall. He continued, and then one of the Park Place Motorsports Porsches had a tank slapper.
Watch this in the pit lane as Jan Magnussen left in the Camaro, clipping the tire in the Brumos Porsche pit next door. Luckily, nobody hurt.
Now, this car had a problem with the exhaust bracket scraping the ground. Of course, ultimately, it scraped through and the exhaust fell down, and that continues to be a problem for that car.
Another procedural problem for the number 6 car from Michael Shank Racing. Shank wasn't clear on the rule, or he was clear. He thought the officials were unclear on the rule. Either way, you're always going to lose that argument.
He certainly felt violated. This was a great battle. Jamie Mack behind the wheel of the 02 going up against the little Scot, Alan McNish. Traded a bit of paint in the nighttime hours. Then on the next pit stop, Jamie hits his air hose. He'll get a drive-through penalty. You can see how traffic comes into play even on pit lane.
Pit stops have been a huge part of the competition in the race thus far. And it's time for more pit stops. I promised you wheel-to-wheel, nose-to-tail action. We are going to get it when we get a green flag. First, pit stops. Here come the Daytona prototypes.
Yeah, I'm sure pretty much everyone's going to come here, because if you stop now, you'll do it on one more stop to get to the checkered flag. So now it's down to the crews. Hopefully those cars are refreshed, no real servicing other than fuel. Don't see tires over the wall for the 01, Chris.
Yeah, the Calvin, the 01 already in, not doing tires for Juan Pablo Montoya, but the 10 car, they're going to do fuel and tires. What's interesting is they have a tether on their gas man down here, and well, it looks like the 01's going to beat him out anyway. They're trying to short fill on this car before that 01 got a launch and try and get some track position. Matt?
And service already complete on the 60 car. Michael Shank Racing, A.J. Allmendinger, great job on these guys to give him about 8 or 9 seconds of Sunoco race fuel. And guys, did he grab the lead?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah, they jumped out. Both these cars only took fuel. The problem is when you're not all the way out of fuel, it means that refueling is really quick. They're only about 15 minutes into a stint, so 20-gallon tank, they're probably putting 7 or 8 gallons on board, which is about a 10-second start. Tires are going to take a lot longer than that, so you can see the 10 car is the one that lost a little bit of track position by taking fresh rubber.
You got to think they're looking for speed, though, Calvin, knowing that they can't outrun the cars in front of them without every advantage that they could possibly get, tires being one.
AJ's going to be a pest, Dorsey, I have to say, because it's all about being out front. They know that BMW has fierce straightaway speed, but AJ's a terrier. He's going to not let this one go easily.
Well, last year, A.J. Allmendinger got car owner Mike Shank to agree to shave A.J.'s initials into his haircut if they won the race. They did. Michael did. He's with Matt.
And what a run by these guys. Michael, you have to be so proud of your guys, the never give up attitude. You were down 7 laps, got 4 laps down, and then you got another 6 laps. You guys have just been unbelievable.
It's been amazing. I call that a little Parrott County ingenuity, a little town where I'm from back home, but that worked out beautifully. Great strategy by Jess Schaffner today and Dale Wise. And over-the-wall guy, Ralph the Fueler, hit it hard today. So that got us out. I don't think we can beat them, but we're going to have fun right up until that point they pass us.
You talk about how special last year's win was, and over your shoulder is the nose section from last year's car. It still has about 24 hours of dirt and grime and celebration on it, bringing it back for good luck.
Yeah, you know, I was offered like $40,000 for that thing, and I would not sell it. And I hoped all day today I wouldn't have to use it. So, you know, I got another one from the 6 car, unfortunately, sitting here, so we'll put that one on and keep this 50th anniversary one.
All right, good luck to the run.
Right on.
That's a good guy right there.
He is stoked. I mean, that is a brilliant performance, and that's what the regulations allow you to do. Claw these laps back, stay in the game, stay focused, and that's what it's all about. There we see the crew guys, the other drivers, they've done a brilliant job. Oz Negri with that injury that he sustained. John Pugh, they call him a Pro-Am driver, but he is really, really talented. And Justin Wilson, he has certainly driven the wheels off this 60 machine to get them back in the hunt.
What's the first thing I noticed about that? John Pugh, Oz Negri, and Justin Wilson all sitting there, uniforms zipped up to the neck, as if they could be the next guy in this car. There they are.
They're all pretty happy looking, too. They've gone through a really, really long night. That team has battled, and they're sitting pretty right now. They got the right guy behind the wheel.
Here come the GT cars, led by the number 44 car. Nicolas Amindo behind the wheel. Will they do a driver change? I think Leitz may take it to the finish. Lazaro's got a heavy stint he's entailing if he's going to try and carry the load all the way to the checkered flag. Then we see one of the Audis, Rene Rast, coming into the 52. Now it's going to be down at the cruise. Chris?
Yeah, and Calvin, it's not going to be Anthony Lazaro that takes it to the finish. He's going to do one more stint in this car, and then they're going to go with the fresh young face, Mark Wilkins, to finish this thing out. He's getting some rest right now. This Ferrari has definitely taken a beating out here. Some of the panels crushed in on the car, but I checked with Ian Willis. He said the car is working great, even after those hits that it did take earlier today. But looks like we're 44 guys.
Looks like they may have overshot their pit box a little bit, had to shuffle the car back. It looks awfully tight to the wall as well, so that is a big mistake if they have got a problem there, because he had a clear pit box coming in, being the first one on pit lane. Here, Richard Leitz is maybe getting in behind the wheel. That's what I expected. He is fierce behind the wheels of one of these Porsches. There goes the Ferrari, so you can see 44 has definitely lost track position with this faulty pit stop.
Definite driver change. Saw that happening when they got the car where they had to push it back. It is very tight to the wall, like you said. It's going to make everything difficult on that side.
Being very, very careful with the pit stop. And you can see just how tight it was for the tire changer at the rear.
That was an early release. He was struggling to get the gun out of the wheel.
Hope he got all those lugs on. Let's take another look at what happened as Nicolas Armindo brought it in.
45 miles an hour. It's all about focus, keeping your head in the game.
Yeah, got just a splitter over the white line there. Watch, she'll catch it here in a second. You have to push it back.
Yeah, and I think the key is that those crew members need to be inside the box, and he can't service that car with his feet outside of that white line, and they just got to get him in there. So because the hose is long enough, but that would have been a penalty if they'd refueled him with one of the crew members being outside of the box.
And you know what happened right there was he unplugged his helmet when he came down pit lane. Couldn't hear.
Now let's check the rest of the highlights from our race recap. Deep into the nighttime. At the halfway mark, Dario Franchitti, the 0-2 from Chip Ganassi Racing with Felix Sabates, was the overall race leader. But then problems struck as Jamie McMurray got in the car and while trying to work with a pit lane speed limiter, tagged the wall exiting the pits, and that cost them 6 or 7 laps in the garage.
It did, and then we get through these nighttime hours, and then the fog hit. Dorsey, you were here, and you got your motorhome.
The fog got so bad you couldn't see the race cars anymore, and so they put them behind the pace car. They didn't red flag it, but
They stayed that way for quite a long time, about 90 minutes. But then the sun burned off the fog and we went racing once again.
Ryan Dial leading the field back to green, looking for another Daytona 24-hour win, but it wasn't to be their day. Then a bit of a bad move here by Goncalves. It slides it down the inside in traffic. That was never going to work, and that ultimately cost them their day.
Problems for Starworks Motorsport. Alex Popov in the car. Straight line the chicane, not once, not twice, but 3 times at least. And that took a heavy toll on the tires and the bodywork.
Cost them a lap, but they fought hard, got back on the lead lap, but then brake issues have kind of scuppered their chances, even though they are back in the game. Then look at this big moment with the 30 machine. Front left suspension completely explodes coming through the tri-oval. Look at that from the onboard. Driver was taking a bit of a breather there and really got caught out. Lucky it wasn't the right front, otherwise he'd have been in the fence.
And they were the class leader at the time. It became a Ferrari 1-2 until this moment in 1.
Mark Wilkins gets turned around by the 63 machine. Just jumped on the brakes a little bit too hard, got twitchy, couldn't get it slowed up. Hits the back of Mark, turns him around. Then further problems for the 02. Driveline issues. Was that a fault because of the hit by Jamie McMurray earlier in the race?
More great battling now. Ryan Hunter-Ray in the number 10 car from Wayne Taylor Racing. Battling the 01. Wave after wave of world-class drivers from both Wayne Taylor Racing and Chip Ganassi.
He fought hard, but the BMWs certainly have some poke on these straightaways, and we know that Ganassi runs their cars really trimmed out here, so it's a combination, but they have speed. Look at this, Marcus Ambrose. He's having a lot of fun.
Picking up a position. And then challenging for second.
Takes the position away from Max Viax in the brake zone there for the chicane. Mike Shanker's happy. Worked hard to get that car back on the lead lap. Now there's only one car in front of them.
And here's how we stand. A.J. Allmendinger in the defending race championship car is the leader. Damian Faulkner in the number 23 car is the GT leader, and in GX, David Donahue, son of Mark Donahue, in a Porsche.
Racing cars and stopping Alzheimer's disease? Actually, it makes perfect sense. Because whether you're a race car driver, a roadie, or a rocker, Alzheimer's can happen to you. I'm Brian Johnson, and I'm a driver for the most powerful group in the fight, the Alzheimer's Association. Donate today to the Highway to Help and get us across the finish line just that bit faster.
Whoa.
Nobody insures more bikes than Progressive. Do you guys ride?
Well, no. Sometimes. Yes. Yeah.
Well, if you know anybody else who also rides, send them here. We got great coverage. It's not like bikers love their bikes more than life itself. I doubt anyone will even notice.
Leading the pack in motorcycle insurance. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
From Maine to Maui, thousands of high school students across the country are getting in on the action by volunteering in their communities.
It's great helping others, and it feels good too. Are you in?
Whoa! Anyone can do it. All it takes is a little time. Are you in?
Action teams of high school students are joining Volunteers of America and Major League Baseball players to help train and inspire the next generation of volunteers.
It's easy to start an action team at your school, so you too can get in on the action.
Are you in? Get in on the action at actionteam.org.
And the crowd has turned out in droves, expecting to see a great race. And every driver has but one goal, and that is to win the race.
Green, green, green. Look at them jostling around him. That is a dangerous move. That is high risk. What a race. What a day.
Tune in to the Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series, Saturday, March 2nd, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific, only on Speed.
If you like what you're seeing at the Grand Am Rolex 24, Speed has an exclusive deal to the Brickyard Grand Prix come July. It's a special $24 ticket offer, only available during the 24 hours of Rolex race broadcast. Visit speed.com/deals now to purchase this special offer. But hurry, you're running out of time, just as the cars on the racetrack are. Action down in the pits. That's the Michael Waltrip, Clint Boyer, Rui Aguas, Robert Kaufman, Ferrari.
Again, a remarkable run here. Currently 18th last. A little bit out of sequence on this pit stop, but working a different strategy. We expect to go back to green here, so he needs to hustle, otherwise those DPs are going to be all over him.
Well, he's going to have to make up a lot of room if they go green this lap to catch that pack.
Okay, last year we saw AJ trading paint with one of the most brilliant little sports car drivers in the world, AJ Allmendinger, and he's a fighter, but I tell you what, Juan Pablo Montoya, he's in the same mold. This is going to be good.
I wondered when you would get to that. I was thinking the same thing.
Think about this lineup. A.J. Allmendinger, followed by Juan Pablo Montoya, followed by Joao Barbosa, Max Angelelli, Ricky Taylor, Ryan Dial, John Fogerty, and Christian Fittipaldi.
Nitro's still on, so I think they're going to let the cars catch up. We can do it one more time.
Yeah, there's a bunch scattered around the racetrack that were waved by to form up.
But I agree with you, Calvin, this front, too. I think if there's any car that might be able to match speed or get close to it, it's going to be A.J. Allmendinger's car. But that being said, every driver we've talked to has said no way.
Oops, problem for the 19. Kevin Roush showed 23rd in class, flat right rear, and he has had a long, bumpy drive around this 3.5-mile Daytona International Speedway.
You test drove it, you bargained for it, and now you care for it every single day. When you drive, it protects you. It transports you in style. The only thing that lies between you and the road are your tires. Continental Tire. Innovative technology. Driving confidence.
So, as you can see, Geico's customer satisfaction is at 97%. Tasty.
And cut. Very good.
People are always asking me how we make these Geico adverts. So we're taking you behind the scenes. This coffee cup, for example, is computer animated. It's not real. Geico's customer satisfaction's quite real, though. This computer animated coffee tastes dreadful.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Someone get me a latte, will you, please?
From Maine to Maui, thousands of high school students across the country are getting in on the action by volunteering in their communities.
It's great helping others, and it feels good too. Are you in? Whoa!
Anyone can do it. All it takes is a little time. Are you in?
Action teams of high school students are joining Volunteers of America and Major League Baseball players to help train and inspire the next generation of volunteers.
It's easy to start an action team at your school, so you too can get in on the action.
Are you in? Get in on the action at actionteam.org.
We love living out here. Fresh air, great neighbors, and now we have great internet with HughesNet Gen 4. We picked HughesNet because it's America's #1 choice for satellite internet, and now it's better than ever.
I can keep up with all the sports action and dominate my fantasy league.
With download speeds up to 15 times faster, we can all do more with HughesNet Gen 4.
It's awesome for downloading songs and listening to music online.
It makes doing homework so much easier.
I'm finally getting into this whole social networking, and HughesNet Gen 4 definitely makes it easier. I just shared all our vacation pictures. Now we can live where we love and still stay connected. And you can too. Just get HughesNet Gen 4.
Sign up now for HughesNet Gen 4 and get speeds up to 15 megabits per second with improved download capacity. Plus, you'll get free standard installation. So call now. Call 1-800-274-9752 or visit HughesNet60.com and order today.
It doesn't get more dramatic than this. The green is out as we return to coverage of the Rolex 24 at Daytona. A.J. Allmendinger with Juan Pablo Montoya, Joao Barbosa, and Max Angelelli on his bumper.
AJ timed that to perfection. I was expecting JPM to have a run at him, but he didn't make it happen. So AJ now has to hit his marks through this infield section before he gets to that banking.
AJ intentionally didn't go because he saw that run about to happen by Juan Pablo. That was a really, really good read on his part.
Really good restart. Pace car dropped off the apron relatively late. They waited on the green. And I think everyone's just gradually getting used to these new restart rules. You can pass before the stripe, unlike previous years in Grand Am competition. And I think all of the drivers like that move. Remember the 0-1. Pruitt talked about it. It took a couple of laps for this car to really come in. Is Montoya struggling a little bit here before he can start to put some pressure on A.J. Allmendinger. Key is now getting on the power early. Slightly wider line by JPM as he tries to unwind that wheel and get the throttle down, Dorsey.
Timmy Keene watching the broadcast. He's going to watch him go on really closely.
There's Memo Rojas
right
to the
there.
right. Yep, he's a guy whose entire season depends on what happens to Juan Pablo Montoya in the next hour and 11 minutes.
I'm sure Timmy Keene is going to look at how Montoya literally behaves here in these next couple of laps. If he gets really racy and really aggressive, I'm sure he'll try and calm him down and tell him we've got plenty of time on the clock. Don't take any unnecessary risks. We have the dominant car here.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to take risks. I'm going to show you why. Watch the power of that BMW. Nobody has been able to run with this car on a straight line, and it handles well too. Here it comes.
Closes in, couple of car lengths, now feeling the draft big time. Montoya likes the outside line. AJ will have seen it. How will he defend? He had McNish do a similar thing to him last year and force him out wide. They're not side by side, just good clean racing at the moment.
Emphasis on the clean.
Remember, Montoya has the freshest brakes in this leading group as well.
And when you have to defend from a car that has better top end than you, you're working harder because you got to really, really nail those brake zones. And for this situation, Juan Pablo is not going to have to work nearly as hard as A.J. Allmendinger is.
Two races with different complexions for these two teams, but both perfectly executed. The dominant car all day long. The 01, they haven't made any mistakes. The 60 have rebounded from the suspension issue and got back to lead the Daytona 24-hour race. It's the 8th year in a row that A.J. Allmendinger has led this race. The crew told him that on the radio. He said, forget that. I want it to be the 2nd year in a row that I win it.
Be a little closer. You're clear by 4.
I expect A.J. to get very aggressive here because he's just sitting duck to the power of that BMW.
I spoke with Memo Gidley during the 3 days of Grand Am Rolex testing, the so-called roar before the 24, and asked him about the strongest team in the pit lane. Gidley said, without doubt, it's Chip Ganassi racing with Felix Sabates. And it wasn't just about who has how many revs and so on. It's because the Ganassi team has such a vast amount of experience running multiple cars in NASCAR Sprint Cup in addition to the IZOT IndyCar Series. And they have the resources and the personnel and the equipment and everything you need to create the most dominant car out there. And that's a part of the game.
It is, but they're a really efficient group, Bob. They have money, but they don't waste money. You don't see them doing a lot of testing. They spend the money in the right areas. And Chip Ganassi, I think the reason for all of his success is the people that he employs. He puts the right people in the right places, from Mike Hull down to Timmy Keene.
They're by 2.
That's Barry Waddell from Skip Operational Mile Buddies. It's talking to A.J. Allmendinger on the radio, coaching him through. Barry, a really good coach, by the way.
How about that lap comparison for those two guys?
Pretty tight, 300ths.
300ths of a second. It's nice to have somebody talk you through this when you're under pressure like this, too. Another set of eyes really helps.
I think Montoya's car is now starting to hit the sweet spot. You can see it. Just holding these corners and these apexes a little bit better than he did on the opening lap. Now he gets aggressive on jumped on the throttle. It's starting to loosen up a little bit.
Picking up the GT battle now, where we also have a nose-to-tail and side-by-side fight going on. Anthony Lazzaro in the 69 Ferrari. Rene Rast, in fact, the third-place car. Marcus Winkelhoff there as well.
The Audi's got to the inside. The Ferrari against two Audis right now, and that's been a strong contingent of Audis down here.
Look at this. After 23 hours of racing, we have side-by-side racing for the lead in both categories. It doesn't get any better. Lazzaro, he took that shallow entry to that final corner, and here we go, 3 wide, down to the bus stop chicane for the lead in GT.
Who's going to
that's tight.
Oh, awesome.
1, 2, and 3 became 3, 2, and 1.
We said Montoya's car's coming in. He's got half a car. He's going to take it in deep on the brakes. He has brakes to go. AJ takes it in even deeper.
Squirming on the brakes. Allmendinger holds off Montoya.
Fighting hard. AJ Allmendinger wants a second Rolex.
That was right at the limit. You see the squirmingness on the braking? I mean, both those cars could have been in the fence just one little bit more.
And look at that white 5 coming up. Draw by both sides.
Yeah, he likes this too.
And in GT, Lazzaro takes the lead back in the Ferrari. Breaks for a he's really wide. Takes it in too deep. Gives the positions back. He's up in the dirt. This is 10. The 13 is around. Winkelhock spins it down in turn 1.
Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't be a bit surprised if he didn't drop wheels in the grass to the inside. They were 3 wide down there.
Let me correct myself. That's the 9 from Action Express. Yeah, that's Barbosa right there in 3rd place.
Max the Axe in the mix as well.
1, 2, 3, 4, all nose to tail on the high banks.
Ford, BMW, Chevy.
Got 5 car lengths, 4 car lengths. It's going to be close.
See this draft now. I mean, 4 cars are punching a big hole in the air as they go down the back straight.
There's been a lot of complaints in the paddock about performance balance here this week, but I tell you what, the end of 23 hours of racing, and you've got 3 different manufacturers covered by a blanket.
Montoya showed Allmendinger the nose to the outside. Allmendinger drifted to the right to take the piece of track that Montoya needed to break into the corner.
That's 3 car lengths.
Great thrust and parry between 2 pros.
Here comes that BMW power again. There's not much you can do. AJ's going to drive it in down on 1. Guarantee he's done it every lap.
He's got it. He's a little bit further ahead. He's going to try and clear him and tuck it down.
Yep.
Now you got to try to force him to go in too deep.
Now AJ will try the outside.
Ron's not going to let that happen.
Wow, what a move by Allmendinger. He tries to go the outside of Montoya.
Yeah, but he's going to get rubbed off if he gets out there.
That's no man's land. That was going to be problems if he tried to hang there.
Now he tries the outside. He'll try to switch back to the inside on the exit. Watch, he'll try to tuck in here.
Barbosa sticks his nose in. I'm not sure even AJ is looking in those mirrors. He's just on the attack at the moment. If he slips, Barbosa will be through.
Another former winner of the Rolex 24. There's nothing but experienced winning drivers up front.
Montoya slides wide a little bit, trying to carry apex speed through there. The car is not totally hooked up, or Montoya's just driving it over the edge a little bit. He's slipping and sliding. Max the Axe wants some of this action.
These guys, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, really need to work together now. They need to get in a tight draft and try to run down that BMW power. If they don't, Juan Pablo's going to be out of here in a minute.
Perhaps that's why Montoya was driving it so hard on the infield. He didn't want to rely on top speed on the straights. He wanted to gap the others as best he could on the infield so he could widen that gap on the straights and give himself a little breathing room.
Last lap, Tom Montoya was 600s faster than Allmendinger. It's going to be a lot more than that on this lap as he starts to put some gap between he and his competitors. What a fight by Allmendinger, though. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was. It's really tough when the guy's out driving you on the straightaway. There's not a great deal you can do at Daytona. This is the only racetrack we run at like this, so it might not be so pronounced, but at this racetrack, it's all about horsepower.
Montoya's seen it happen to him. Remember back in 2009, David Donahue did a similar move on him right through this trioval to take the lead with just 40 minutes to go.
Now we've got traffic ahead of the leaders.
And And that's the key. You've got to keep the pressure on. You've got to be close enough where if Montoya has a bobble in traffic, you are close enough to pass.
Able to clear the GT car.
Here comes Max the Axe down the inside. Leaves it really late. Chevy side by side trading paint. Barbosa said, no way, man.
Great stuff.
He had too much speed to stay down the inside. He knew it. The switchback was perfectly executed.
We talked about it yesterday. This would be a shootout in the final couple of hours. We expected more players in the game. We've got it. We've got 4.
Credit Barbosa with keeping his cool when Max the Axe came down the inside. I don't know if there was contact, but Barbosa just hit the brakes, turned under him, gassed it, and got back by.
He immediately knew what he had to do. He knew he was going to come in there that deep that he was going to wash out wide. The only option, outbrake him, go to the inside, and try to get the power down first.
Barbosa had 2 wins last year that were all him. This team loves him. They believe in him. He's the only man, the only driver on this team that kept his job this year. They feel he is the real deal, and he has shown it again today.
Boy, AJ had a great exit right there and just flung it through there. Got a good shot off. Runs the bottom hill. Bottom of the line is the slowest. We're here about a full-course caution because of debris. It wouldn't surprise me at this point in the race to have debris. Oh, my God.
Look at them. Yeah, straight. Somebody blew a tire.
Pack up.
Yeah, somebody exploded a tire all over the place there.
I think it's off the number 45 Magnus Racing Porsche.
Okay, now there's going to be some strategy come into play. You can only go about 45 minutes on fuel. You can see it there. An hour plus on the clock. There you see the damage, the right rear corner on that Porsche.
Shattered tire at the right rear. Did what flat tires usually do. Tore up the car.
Tell you what, if I'm the 10 team, 4th in line on the lead lap, I'd be taking fuel. Tougher decision for the leaders.
Man, you can't script this.
Now you got to wonder if you ran through all those steel belts that are laying all over out there. Did it cut your tire down?
Right.
I mean, that's the other thing. Other than the fuel, that was a debris field that you couldn't help but go through.
Timmy Keene won this race back in 2011 with a very similar situation. He pitted Scott Pruitt from 3rd position. Mike Hull kept the 0-2 out there. They didn't want the 10 car back on the lead lap, and that meant that Pruitt's last pit stop was a lot shorter. Maybe one of their competitors now will play the same game on them.
And they don't have that 0-2 car to help them. To Chris Neville.
I just checked in with Wayne Taylor, wondering if Max Angelelli had flat spotted the tires when he dove into that infield horseshoe, and Wayne shook his head, said no problem with the tires. So we remember back to the last pit stop, the 10 car was the only car in that lead group that took tires. So on this stop, I'm expecting just fuel in this car. Going to be very interesting to see what everybody else does. Matt?
Chris, when AJ was finally passed by Juan Pablo, AJ keyed the mic and he told the team, I'm sorry, I gave it the best we could. And Mike Shank quickly jumped in. No, sir, you're doing a great job. Shake it off. Don't worry about it. We still have an hour left. Remember, your exits are better than everybody. Just concentrate on those and we should be okay.
Someone's got to roll the dice here. So much harder for the dominant car to make the right call. For the others, and they can also see what the other one's going to do first.
That's right. All they have to do is react.
More trouble here with the 45 still rubbing.
Could be another tire problem coming up for that car.
Yeah, I'll be lucky to get around without popping that.
Now let's watch that battle between the 9 and the 10. This is the braking that Chris was talking about, but no sign of, well, a little bit of time.
But not much, not much.
Yeah. He rotated that wheel again really quickly. We call him Max the Axe because he's so good on the brakes. He took it in there really deep, but Barbosa, what a response. That is a statement.
Just counterpunching without even having to think about it.
That's 2 guys on top of the game. I mean, both of them knew the situation, what they were playing for.
Who's going to blink first here?
I want to see what happens here. That's going to be interesting. Look at the time, 59 minutes left.
If you stay out, you can do it on one more stop, but it will be a lengthy stop. If you come in now, top up, if you then come in with someone else, you could potentially leapfrog them by only needing a short fill.
Yeah, a little splash.
This time yesterday, the whole 24 hours lay ahead. You had a lot of time to react and do whatever you thought you needed to do to be ready at the end. Well, now we're at the end, and you've got to make quick and proper decisions. Cleanup continues down at turn 4.
Lights still
the pits
on.
are closed.
Pits are closed.
We're seeing a red light at the pit entrance, so they'll go around again. Stand by for more. Once again, all the cars have to negotiate that debris field.
I've been out there most of my life. You name it, I've hooked it. But there's one that's always eluded me. Thought I had it in the blizzard of '93. Never even came close. Sometimes I actually think it's mocking me.
What?
Volunteering in their community.
It's great helping others, and it feels good too. Are you in? Whoa!
Anyone can do it. All it takes is a little time. Are you in?
Action teams of high school students are joining Volunteers of America and Major League Baseball players to help train and inspire the next generation of volunteers.
It's easy to start an action team at your school, so you too can get in on the action.
Are you in? Get in on the action at actionteam.org.
February 8th, 5 NASCAR heroes receive the sport's greatest honor. The first back-to-back champion, a driver turned owner with an eye for talent. The sport's first superstar, a champion that never backed down, and a man who revolutionized the pit stop. See Baker, Owens, Thomas, Wallace, and Wood enshrined. The 2013 NASCAR Hall of Fame induction ceremony, February 8th at 7:30 Eastern, exclusively on Speed.
What's the best way to transform your next gathering or event? T-shirts! That's right, T-shirts. Custom-made T-shirts that you design online with Custom Ink. With Custom Ink T-shirts, your group becomes a team. Thanks, Custom Ink! And designing your own shirts is easy with Custom Ink's online design lab. Just choose a style, then pick out a color or change color. Custom Ink has hundreds of different fonts and the web's best collection of high-quality artwork. You can even upload your own artwork, and we'll personally take it from concept to custom shirts that look great. Thanks, Custom Ink! At Custom Ink, we've helped create over 30 million custom T-shirts. So visit trycustomink.com and start your own T-shirt design for free. Order one shirt or thousands. On-time delivery is guaranteed, and we'll even ship your order absolutely free. So go to trycustomink.com and be the hero at your next gathering or event with Custom Ink.
Back live with the Rolex 24 at Daytona with Calvin Fish and Dorsey Schrader. I'm Bob Barsha. Chris Neville and Matt Yoakum are in the pit lane. Time for pit stops if you want them.
Here they come. 01 is coming in. We're so close now to making that winner. A little bit of caution. Didn't make it without a splash. Chris.
Calvin, I just checked in with my teams, Ganassi, Extra Express, and also Wayne Taylor's Velocity Worldwide team. All these teams saying that if we get another caution, they can make it. If we go green, all of them having to come back to pit lane for anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds of fuel. It looks like the 01 and the Extra Express tires, no tires in the 10. Max Angelelli, the first down. Matt?
And down in the 60 pit, they finally got the right rear on. AJ is away. They topped him off with some Sunoco fuel. They went back and forth, guys, about how he was on his tires. He said, I've just got a four-wheel drift all over.
Yeah, and the 9 car, I think, just leapfrogged around the 60 car there, Matt. Great call by the Velocity Worldwide team there, not taking tires. Wasn't a full fill. What we're looking at now, 54 minutes on the board. These guys go about 45. They need 9 minutes of help in terms of this caution being extended or maybe grabbing another one.
Let's get down and hear what Wayne Taylor thinks of his team's strategy.
Well, Wayne Taylor always looking nervous, definitely looking nervous now. Okay, I checked in with all these teams. It looks like if we stay green, nobody can make it. But how much fuel are you going to need?
I think we're all in the same boat. It's going to be tough, you know. I mean, you know, clearly the 01, I mean, he's going to be right behind us. Whether we can hold him off or not, I don't know. I think it is going to come down to fuel at the end. But obviously what we're going to do is save as much as we can and look after the tires, you know. So we didn't put tires in that time. Everybody else put tires. But we had done the previous stint. So, yeah, these guys are doing a fantastic job. And couldn't be more proud of them.
All these drivers are tired. It's starting to warm up. I heard Max call for putting a new water bottle in the car on this stop. And Simon Hodgson, your crew chief, said, no water now. You got to dig deep. Is he going to be able to make it?
We have the Max the X here today. He's going to pull this off.
Matty?
Down in the Michael Shanks race a bit. Michael, at this scenario, what numbers are you looking at as far as how much fuel you'll need near the end?
We're close. We're real close. I don't want to say on Hexus right now, but we're pretty close right now.
Hey, when AJ was coming down here, he said, all right, AJ, let's do this, hopefully for the last time today.
We're going to turn into a fuel mileage race here without a caution. I mean, these guys are going to gamble it. You can tell by the way they're talking already. I mean, I think they're maybe 2 laps short. But
yeah, I think they're a few minutes short, Dorsey. I mean, they've been doing about 45, 46-minute stints. There's 6 minutes on the board. We're still under caution. But remember, the Ford team have been stretching their mileage a little bit further, a lap or two over the BMW. So for someone like Allmendinger, if they can keep him under control and say, just manage your fuel, use that drive. You've got those 3 guys in front of you. Use the drive to hold the speed and just roll out of the gas pedal. That's how you save fuel at the end of these straightaways, just easing out of that gas pedal, Dorsey. If he can save a little bit and that Ford fuel mileage, maybe that'll be enough to be a difference.
You can really do that here, Calvin, going into turn 1, because you're coming off of an 18-degree bank. It's on a downhill run. You can just kick the thing up into neutral and coast it on in there, and you don't lose that much time.
Chris Neville is with Tim Keene in the Ganassi pits.
Well, Tim talking to his crew down here. But, Tim, everybody fueling up there, but we have seen the Fords go a little bit longer during this race. Do you think they can stretch the fuel?
No, I don't think so. You have to get 5.75 right now. In order to do that, you're going to have to go pretty slow, and I think if that would just kill you. We'd have too much of a lead on you by the time it's over.
All right, here we go. Getting ready to go green.
We are green once again. Green flag in the air. You're racing, gentlemen. You notice on that pit stop, too, the Ganassi team took just about the same amount of time in the pits as the 10 car did, even though the Ganassi car changed tires in addition to fuel.
Look at Allmendinger. He goes around the last long way. Around Montoya, he takes 3rd spot. Barbosa is loose. Allmendinger will be on the attack here in the brake zone.
Oh, and he's gone by the outside. Barbosa jumped the Ganassi car to start.
He's going to try and ride the rim shot here. Will Barbosa get rid of it?
No. Push him off for sure.
So much being fair.
Now he's got a radiator full. That's not good.
And he's dropped back in front of the 99 in 6th place.
Putting it all on the line. So much for saving fuel and right at the drop. AJ wanted the lead.
At the start, Barbosa jumped. Juan Pablo got around him cleanly, and then out of nowhere, here comes AJ. But he got pushed off with that first.
Montoya is the more conservative one in this group. Who would have thought that?
My point is, Barbosa, I want to see if there's any repercussion on that start. I don't think there will be.
Well, remember, when the green flag is out, you go racing. We can't see the green flag.
Watch Barbosa. Watch him. He's a 3rd place car. Now he makes his move. It's not green yet. Now watch him. He just drives right by. There's the green. I don't know, boys.
Well, I think the green might have been in the air. Of course, they're relying on their spotters, green, 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 to tell them when it's out. And this was the Barbosa-Allmendinger incident.
Yeah, that was a tough one. AJ just being super aggressive there. You know, at this stage of the game, no one's going to be that clean and give you a full car width there. They may give you 2 wheels on the pavement. You're not going to keep all 4 on that track.
And now we get the word the 9 car will stop for a minute for avoidable contact.
Wow, that is a really tough call at this stage of the game. The penalty is for the contact, not for potentially a jump start. We're not sure on that one, but that is a really tough call in the final hour of this race.
Takes another player out of the game.
AJ was being super aggressive, and Barbosa gave it to him. He's essentially handing him that position.
Wow, that's interesting. Now there needs to be caution, or that car's eliminated.
Okay, here we see the battle here. These guys did not pit, so they're going to have to hit pit lane again.
Anthony Lazzaro with the Ferrari, Rene Rast in the Audi.
Saw the Ferrari have a little bit more straight line speed at the very end of the straights. On these Audis, the Porsche seem to have the most, but right now he's in a battle with an Audi, so that's what he's got to defend. It'll be a tough call for this AIM Motorsport team. If you're doing a green flag start, we heard earlier that they're going to turn it over to young Mark Wilkins to take it to the checkered flag. That is certainly a vote of confidence for that driver, but strategy may play a part. Side by side here as the Audi gets to the inside.
On board with Richard Westbrook in the 90 Daytona prototype.
3 wide coming off the banking here.
Wesley's in fifth spot in DP, a little ways behind here, but look at this. This is for the lead in GT, right behind that Daytona prototype. The Audi takes it in deep. Rene Rast going for his second consecutive win here at the 24. Won with Magnus last year. He wants to give Audi their first win.
Anthony let that happen smartly.
Meanwhile, Max Angelelli continues to draw away from this pair. Juan Pablo Montoya can't wait too long. He knows, presumably, that the car ahead will have to go to the pits.
Remember, the Ganassi car takes a few laps to get up to speed. And look, the switchback
to Matt Yoakum.
And AJ brings the car in, the grill completely packed, full of grass, and he's away.
I'm surprised they didn't take a splash of fuel there unless I didn't see it, Matt. There was no fuel, right?
I don't know why they wouldn't have done fuel.
There was no fuel.
Wow. Wow. That's something not allowed to go for it. Because right now they are outside of fuel window. I don't get that one. Just a couple of seconds of fuel would have given him enough.
Watching the battle in GT. Rene Rast in that Audi R8, former winner of this race. In fact, he won it a year ago with the Magnus team, I believe.
Ferrari must have top speed because he got back around. Anthony Lazaro took that position back to watch it.
Yeah, advantages in different spots right now, and Anthony's been on a long stint here. He's going to be worn out, and look at that. He's having to defend when he takes that shallow entry here. Rast just sets him up and tucks it to the inside and gets the power down while the Audi is really hooked up. Look at that. That is easy. That is racing 101. When you go in on that shallow entry, you're going to run wide coming off.
But the Ferrari's got the legs. Watch it here.
Maybe that's the ace up Lazaro's sleeve. He recognized it. As long as I'm side by side, I got a little bit more top end. This is where it comes in.
High up in the rev range.
I think Rast is going to take it in deep. He does. Great battle. These manufacturers came here last year, had a few problems, but boy, oh boy, they have come here in force this year. 4 Audis, a handful of Ferraris in the field.
Let's get the official word on fuel at Schenck.
I just talked to Mike Schenck, and he said simply, we don't need fuel, we should be good. Well, but you know what? Like they say, there's a lot of poker going on up and down pit road here. And also, it's like poker. If you got a chip on the table, you're still in the game.
Look at the top speed of that Ferrari on the big straightaway off the banking. That's where the advantage is, Calvin. Just simply drove around the Audi.
It's going to be tight on that Ford. I mean, if Mike Schenck is confident he's got enough fuel, I'm sure he is. But that is stretching it further than we've seen. And I don't know why you wouldn't take it.
Montoya was told by his crew, the 60 is good on fuel, you better go. We're all watching the same thing.
Look at this.
So,
they rest around the outside of Ferrari.
He's wide. This is great racing.
Drag race to the kink. Quick left-hander coming up.
Oh, you can't go side by side through there.
What a performance by Anthony Lazaro. He's running up against these young hot rod European kids. He turns 50 soon.
Let's get a comment from Chris Neville.
Well, Bob, just listening to Tim King talking to Juan Pablo Montoya on the radio for about the last 4 or 5 laps, just saying, hey, I got to get around this 9 car. And Tim King telling him, don't worry, they're going to be coming in for a penalty, but it's been taking a long time as Elton Sawyer's group has been trying to lobby to keep that car on the racetrack. And while all this is happening, Max Angelelli is driving away.
Well, that's exactly the point, Chris. Montoya can't wait while they appeal the penalty to the 9, because there goes Max Angelelli.
They'll give you a couple of rounds. Now they've got to bring him in, otherwise stop scoring, and that's what's happening right now. So Montoya, no one between he and the leader.
Nobody touched the car, nobody over the wall, nothing.
So somebody rolled the dice and came up snake eyes. Joao Barbosa will be there for 60 seconds. We'll take a break and return.
February 22nd on Speed, the Asphalt Gladiators return to racing's biggest arena.
Here we go!
As the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series hits the high banks for a full throttle fight to the finish. hard into the wall. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Daytona, presented by DirecTV. February 22nd at 7 Eastern, live on Speed. And after the race, don't miss a special preview of Are You Faster Than a Redneck?
Open road! No doubt! And Progressive has great coverage and policies starting at just $95 a year!
I dig that!
Most bikers do! That's why Progressive is #1! Let's ring you up.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Do I have any bugs in my teeth?
Nope, you're good.
#1 in motorcycle insurance. Now that's Progressive.
Golden Corral just passed America's Family Budget Act. Right now, kids eat for just $2.99 Monday through Thursday. It's a great value, perfect for your family budget. This is Golden Corral's non-stop, endless family favorite. And right now, that includes our new incredibly delicious, juicy sirloin filet cooked the way you want. And our mouth-watering, non-stop butterfly shrimp. And don't forget our amazing desserts. It's America's Family Budget Act, giving you the right to an amazing meal, only at Golden Corral.
15 manufacturers. 24 races, 162 race cars, 489 drivers, over 100,000 laps, nearly 300,000 miles. One tire manufacturer. Continental Tire. Innovative technology, driving confidence.
The drive that fuels the WeatherTech racing team is the same that drives us to make the highest quality automotive accessories. WeatherTech, driven to perform.
Back at Daytona moments ago, Juan Pablo Montoya closed the gap to Max Angelelli in the race-leading Corvette Daytona prototype and passed him into the chicane on the backstretch here at Daytona International Speedway.
To use a quote from my old mate Lee Diffie, this won't take long, did it?
70-second lead change of this Rolex 24. That's an all-time record. And now Montoya has to deal with traffic.
We are hearing on the radio that Montoya is 4 laps shy on fuel. So if that's the case, how is the 60 going to make it without help on yellow? I really feel they may have dropped the ball there a little bit and not taken a splash. Just 2 or 3 seconds of fuel could have given A.J. Allmendinger an advantage here.
The same amount of time it took to clean that radiator would have sealed the fate for the fuel. Now he's got to wait for a yellow, or hope for a yellow, I should
Exactly.
say.
One more yellow, and that all goes out of the window. But if we stay green, it could be critical.
Now, moments ago, the 52 Audi in the battle with this 69 Ferrari for the race lead in GT. Hit it. Rene Rast in and out. Here is Anthony Lazzaro. Chris Neville.
And Anthony Lazzaro handing over to Mark Wilkins, who's going to finish this race. He was subbing in this weekend for Guy Cosmo, who had a medical issue. So Mark Wilkins getting the call late, just I think about a week or so ago, to drive this car, and he's done a great job. So the team really showing how much confidence they have in this young Canadian. Car still looks great. The team is reporting that the car is working great. So they're going to bring home victory for Ferrari.
Great strategy here by the 69 team. Once one of the other GT leaders has pitted, you have to follow suit if you're in your fuel window, because if it goes yellow, pits are closed, you're going to get shuffled back. So question is now, who did the best pit stop? Here comes the Audi out on the racetrack. And here comes the 69, driven by young Canadian Mark Wilkins. A lot of pressure on this young man. Never driven this car before this week on the Thursday test day. But what a performance he's put in. Can he respond now and win that Rolex for the first time?
Well, the Ferrari's going to make it out in front of the Audi, but the Audi's got warm tires by now, and the Ferrari does not.
The Audi's also got traffic, and the Ferrari does not.
This next lap or two is going to be crucial for the 69. Rene Rast has won before in these R8s. He's won this race before. He's been in a similar position. For Mark Wilkins, he's used to driving Daytona prototypes. He doesn't have a lot of GT experience, but he loved this Ferrari from the moment he got in it.
We know how fast he is, too. There's no doubt about his ability behind the wheel. And here they are.
Good stuff, boys.
I think he's in good shape because he's got on the back straightaway, and the Ferrari's faster up the straightaway.
I looked down into the pit lane to the AIM FXDD Ferrari team, and there was a lot of high-fiving going on among the crew. I think they figure they nailed it.
Well, they've nailed it, but I think Rene Rast is probably going to close this gap over the next lap. The tires are coming in a lot better for Rene Rast than for Mark Wilkins. There you see the AIM team totally pumped up. Perfectly executed race thus far.
Audi's definitely faster through the corners, no doubt, and in the brake zones. But that top-end speed that Ferrari has makes that hand a better hand, I think.
Spoke to Mark Wilkins the other day after he had some laps. He said, I'm really comfortable in the car. He said, compared to Vilander, who drives these cars all of the time, I'm losing a few tenths in the brake zones. Otherwise, I am good. Right now, he's going to have to find those precious tenths in the brake zones if he's going to defend from this Audi.
37 minutes and change remaining in the 2013 Rolex 24 at Daytona. Montoya leads in the overall and Daytona prototype. Ferrari leads in GT.
Sun bleached bumpers, faded interior, foggy headlights, discolored molding.
Hi, I'm Danny, a.k.a. The Count, from the hit show Counting Cars. Here to tell you about an amazing new vehicle surface restorer called Detail Doctor. With just one application, you can restore your ride's deep, rich color. Not for days, but for up to 1 full year. You see this sun-bleached bumper? With just one coat of Detail Doctor, you can go from this to this in just seconds. We're in the business of restoring cars, but some cars only need cosmetic work. Detail Doctor helps you restore luster and shine to moldings, mirror covers, bed liners, interior dashboards, and door panels, immediately increasing your ride's value, and it only has to be applied once. Renew rubber and plastic with just one wipe. Restore your headlights instantly. Revitalize leather and vinyl to showroom condition without any oily residue. Faded body, just a touch of Detail Doctor and a light buff restores the shine every time.
We've had this bike for 10 years.
And it's definitely my favorite bike. But my saddlebag faded from the Vegas sun, so I applied Detail Doctor months ago, and it still looks new. I'm Danny the Count Coker. Restoration is my business and my passion.
Order Detail Doctor today and protect your car for 1 full year for only $14.99. But wait, call now and we'll double the size. That's enough for 2 cars. And we'll also include the Clean Hands applicator, so you can restore your car in seconds. Order now and we'll also include 2 microfiber detailing cloths and the detail brush. You get it all. A $60 value for only $14.99. Order now.
To order Detail Doctor, call 1-800-984-4814. That's 1-800-984-4814. Or go online at getdetailedoctor.com. Detail Doctor, an Idea Village product. Order now.
I referred through my buddies, and now DirecTV gives me $30 off my bill every month. But it wasn't about the money. My natural instinct is to help people. And in my line of work, my work has to mean something. So if I tell the guys, you get all these great channels and this amazing picture quality, that's what they're going to get.
Refer a friend to DirecTV, and you'll both get $10 off your bill every month. Just give them your account number before they call 1-855-REFER-NOW.
The bayou can be a scary place. They are deadly creatures at every turn. But the most dangerous one is me, baby.
Football legends take on celebrity superstars in the grittiest football game of the year.
That is what the Beach Bowl is all about.
The DirecTV Celebrity Beach Bowl, featuring a post-game concert by Pitbull, Saturday, February 2nd on Audience, only on DirecTV.
Less than 35 minutes remaining in the Rolex 24 at Daytona. And Juan Pablo Montoya in the Chip Ganassi Racing with Philip Savadas. BMW Riley has motored away to a 5.5-second lead right now over Max Angelelli in the Velocity Worldwide Wayne Taylor Racing Corvette Daytona prototype. And A.J. Allmendinger is now third in the number 60, shown the best part of a lap down after having to make an emergency pit stop.
Well, that last lap, Montoya did a 41.9 to Max Angelelli's 43.1. Second plus. That is huge at this stage of the game. We talked about having a car that at 100%. This car has been at 100% throughout the course of now 23.5 hours.
There's the 52 Audi and the 69 Ferrari. They have both pitted. They run 5th and 6th in GT right now, but the 4 cars ahead of them, 2 Porsches and 2 Audis, we believe are going to have to make another pit stop. So this is effectively the race for the lead in GT right now. With that, let's send it down to our Speed Infield studio and join Brian Till, Tommy Kendall, and Justin Bell. Guys, what do you think?
Tommy and I came over here, Bob, from the television compound outside the racetrack. We really didn't want to leave the monitor over there because obviously both in Daytona prototype and in GT, as we're watching right now, the battles are so good it was hard to move away from in front of the television.
Yeah, literally as good as it gets. To be racing this hard, this fast, with this much racing behind them is unbelievable. You commented on the lap that Juan Pablo just did, and even though he's stretched away, the lap before that was within a tenth of the fastest lap of the race, a 41.4. And even though he's got a gap, you're like, why is he still digging? Well, even though it's unlikely that the 60 can get there on fuel, it sounds like they got him turned all the way up just in case, and just in case it stays green till the end. This is going to be a good one.
I was sitting just having a quick snack between leaving the booth and coming down here with Pedro Lamy, and we're both watching it with our mouths open going, and it said on the clock at that point 1 hour and 5 minutes. And I was like, I bet the drivers actually wish it was just the 5-minute part.
Well, 32 minutes to go, and while Montoya has a great lead, I kind of agree with Calvin. I know the problems that AJ had, hard-nosed racing there on that restart, but I feel like if they had splashed him with fuel, then certainly you could have run the car as hard as you could, the 60 all the way to the end, knowing that everybody else was going to have to stop. You needed to come in and get the grass off, but take the advantage there and throw some more fuel in it. It's going to be questionable in my mind anyway if the 60 can make it. We know the Fords have been getting better mileage, but is it enough?
Time will tell if that is the difference. And, you know, the emotions are high. Everybody's exhausted, sleep deprived. So whether they let that slip in the heat of the moment or not, we'll find out. But watching Montoya a second ago, I was just in awe of the precision. If you look at the marks he's hitting, he's using every inch of curb, but super, super tight. 41.4, 41.9, 41.7. And this is the guy that everybody's like, what were they thinking put him in this car? And you think we're making too big a deal about that. Last year, I talked to Grant Weaver on Chip Ganassi Racing. Last year, it got so bad, they had to have their neon signal pit sign say, Montoya is not in the O2. There were so many drivers upset with him that they put that on their lit-up signal board in the middle of the night. And so this is an inspired move by Chip and Tim to put him in this car, and looking like the right call.
Well, Calvin, I guess you'd agree that, but JP cannot make one mistake. It's important he's that accurate. With Max only sitting there 7 seconds behind, that can come undone in a heartbeat. Remember, we've seen them lose up to 3 seconds in traffic.
Absolutely.
And obviously it's thinning out a little bit now, but that could be an issue.
It could, but he is hitting his mark, like TK said. He's had the rhythm of this racetrack throughout the course of the whole event, and you can just see it. You can just see the language of the car. I think last year the Ganassi boys didn't really have a handle on this Gen 3 Riley. They worked hard through last season. Mid-year, it came on form, and boy, Montoya likes it, obviously.
Last lap, Juan Pablo Montoya was 9/10 of a second quicker than Max Angelelli, and 2.5 seconds quicker than A.J. Allmendinger. But we still have half an hour to run here at Daytona. Don't go away.
They're coming out of the hills to conquer the world.
You think your little Euro trash ride can beat my American muscle?
John Reap and his Mullet Mafia pit muscle against import in an epic 3-round battle for a $10,000 paycheck.
He's gonna ram that American muscle all the way down your throat.
Don't mess with rednecks, man. Are you faster than a redneck? Bring it on. Catch a special preview after the trucks race, February 22nd, only on Speed.
Your child doesn't know how many engineers it took to design your tires, or which tread designs didn't make the cut. Your child doesn't care about road surface conditions, Your child doesn't care because they put their trust in you. Which tires are you going to put your trust in? Continental Tires. Innovative technology. Driving confidence.
Green flag is out, and here we go.
When we came to Sears Point with the Audi 90, it was a jewel. You put your foot in the throttle, and you could use the power instantly. But the cockpit was full of water. This was the scariest 20 minutes of my life.
When I saw where was the car, I had no choice.
Benoit Callaway has pulled off an absolutely awesome maneuver. The Audi is back out in front.
It is go time, boys. They're going to go for it. Great car control. That is unbelievable stuff. That's going to get tight there, mixing it up. Coming to pit lane, rolling the dice. That'll shred this field.
No holds barred racing right to the end.
That was an awesome drive.
Tune in to the Grand Am Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. Saturday, February 2nd, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific.
Now, flat abs and a toned stomach can be yours. With the Perfect Fitness Ab Carver Pro, the new way to a flatter stomach. Invented by the U.S. Navy SEAL who brought you the perfect push-up. It's a revolution in waistline carving results. Just drive forward, stretch and extend the muscles of your core and abs. Then return and feel the stomach carving burn. Inside is the Ab Carver Pro's kinetic assist engine. The engine coils up as you extend and then springs you back to keep your workout going. Drive left, right, and center to carve the upper, middle, and lower abs, the inner and outer obliques, plus your chest and arms. So no more sit-ups and crunches. It's only minutes a day for more sculpted arms and a flatter stomach. With its large, stable rubber tires and comfortable ergonomic handles, it works on hard floors and carpets. So here's the deal. The waistline shrinking Ab Carver Pro is only 2 payments of $19.95. Order now and get a set of Perfect Fitness knee pads free. Carve away inches and flatten your stomach with the Perfect Fitness Ab Carver Pro. Call or go online right now.
Back at Daytona, where the Rolex 24-hour race is shortly about to become the Rolex 24-minute race. As we get into the final half hour live here on Speed on this beautiful Sunday in January. Here's a look at the top 10 in Daytona prototype. Right now, Juan Pablo Montoya, hoping to add his 3rd victory overall in this race, leads Max Angelelli and A.J. Allmendinger in a battle of BMW, Chevrolet, and Ford. In the GT class, Felipe Albuquerque, a former GP2 driver in Europe, is leading in an Audi.
Those top 4 cars, Bob, have not made that final pit stop. If there was a big yellow, they may be able to stretch it, but listening to their radio communication, we understand that top 4 in the race right now do need to pit. Will that leapfrog Rene Rast and Mark Wilkins, who currently run 5th and 6th, we'll have to wait and see as it cycles through.
Second place driver in GT is Damian Faulkner in another Audi. So the Audi effort at the Rolex 24 has become very, very effective.
Right now, Alex Job is running 1-2. He's got the Audi out front. He's got that Porsche in second. What a performance by that team. Running 2 different manufacturers. That has got to be a headache, but they are handling it well at this point.
But he really needs a yellow to be in this, I think, because they've been out there 14 laps on this fuel run. They're going to have to stop one more time.
Well, I think they're about 5-8 minutes shy, and a yellow could burn, get you a lot of time back. What do you think, TK?
Yeah, I suspect the one thing to watch, I'm trying to figure out here, we don't have our whole monitor, is what is the gap? There's stops can be a short one, so it's going to be shorter than all those other guys' stops. So is there a chance that 24 can get out with those leaders?
Well, the leaders, when we say the leaders, the guys who are running 5th and 6th, Rene Rast and Wilkins, are running a little bit stronger lap times, and they had track position before, so I think they need a little bit of help. Certainly that pit stop is going to be quick, but what are you hearing on the 44 situation, Jamie?
Well, I just checked in with the team, and Andy Lally brought up a good point. He said, we are so close on fuel right now. A yellow would certainly help us make it, but the problem is it still probably won't be enough because the other guys who've already made that pit stop, they'll be able to run rich. In order for them to make it to the checkered flag, they would have to run almost at full lean, and that's just not enough power to fight for the checkered.
Yeah, look at Damian Faulkner, who is, to my chagrin, in a Porsche. And there's the number 44 car, the defending champions in class. Richard Leeds is in the car.
Just short, you know, of being able to do it with a big yellow would save them all, but that's gambling once again. These other guys are locked in, and they're locked and loaded. They're running faster lap times, Calvin, like you said, so they're running them from arrears.
It's going to be a fascinating battle here from the strategy standpoint.
Richard Leeds, a factory Porsche driver. There are 10 worldwide Porsche factory pilots. 8 of them, plus 2 of their rising junior stars, are in this race.
Montoya's got the hammer down. TK talked about it, another lap in the mid-141s. I think his directive is here, just lay the hammer down, try and get as much of a gap to the rest of the field. You will need a splash of fuel. Is anyone else behind him saving enough to eliminate that? There's 30-odd seconds just coming down pit lane plus the splash. That is a huge difference.
He has about 13 seconds on Max Angelelli, about a minute on A.J. Allmendinger. Those guys in the Ganassi pit have a lot to think about. Final pit stops are coming. We'll be back in just a moment, live at Daytona.
One car travels towards an intersection with wipers that streak and clog, while another travels towards the same intersection with wiper blades that don't let them see clearly. But between them, the Michelin Man with new Michelin Stealth wiper blades, a revolution in wiper blade technology, combining SmartFlex construction for superior windshield contact with proven hybrid blade design for clog-free performance in rain, ice, and snow, helping you steer clear for the road ahead. New Michelin Stealth wiper blades, a better way forward.
You flip, but they flop. You flip, but they flop. Now your pancakes are a mess, and all that butter and fat to cook them? There's got to be a better way. Hi, Mark Gill here for the Perfect Pancake Pan. The fast, easy, spatula-free way to make picture-perfect pancakes every time. Watch. Just pour in your favorite batter, close the handle, and flip it. Presto! 4 golden brown pancakes with no mess and no added fat. The reason is this double-sided, non-stick surface that's so slippery, not even burnt-on cheese will stick to it. Flip delicious blueberry, fluffy apple cinnamon, or 4 mouth-watering buttermilk flapjacks, fast, easy, and without ever using a spatula. If you can turn a doorknob, you can use the Perfect Pancake Pan. Oh no, you broke the yolk again. But watch what happens with the Perfect Pancake Pan. 4 eggs over easy without ever breaking a yolk. Amazing! Now make tasty gingerbread pancakes, fluffy cranberry, or mountains of chocolate chip pancakes for the kids in an instant. You can also make delicious dessert crepes or 4 healthy egg sandwiches just like from a restaurant. Plus, cleanup's a breeze. Why flip and flop one at a time? Call now and make 4 perfect pancakes at the same time with the Perfect Pancake Pan and our fast and fluffy recipe book for only $19.95. But I'm not stopping there. Call or click right this minute and we'll double your entire order. That way you'll have one for a friend or family member free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Yep, you get it all. 2 perfect pancake pans with our fast and fluffy recipe book, a whopping $80 value, all for just $19.95. And when you call, ask about our no-drip batter dispenser to add the perfect amount of batter without the mess every time. Don't delay. Order today.
To order the Perfect Pancake for $19.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-605-8408. That's 1-800-605-8408. Or order online at buyperfectpancake.com. Call or log on now.
NASCAR is back, and there's only one place to experience Daytona Speed Week's biggest thrills.
Contact again.
Drama.
Our most historic place, our biggest race.
And racing excitement.
No! Flying into the catch pit.
As the high banks roar to life.
A hard crash.
And a new season gets off to a sizzling start. Live coverage of Daytona Speed Weeks begins February 14th, only on Speed.
Just under 20 minutes remaining in the Rolex 24 at Daytona. There is your race leader, Juan Pablo Montoya for Chip Ganassi Racing. If he can hold on, he will pick up his 3rd victory overall in this race, and he will make his teammate Scott Pruitt a 5-time winner overall, tying the great Hurley Haywood for most overall victories in this race.
The team's 5th victory in the last 8 years. What a remarkable record. The team has won 3 championships in a row. They are the dominant force, but it is not easy. It is close every year, but they continue to execute at the highest level.
Second place, Max Angelelli running 14.5 seconds behind Juan Pablo right now. It really comes down to fuel mileage as far as I can see. I mean, you look at third place, A.J. Allmendinger, well, he's already on fuel conservation mode. He's running 2 seconds a lap, average, slower than these other two cars. I still don't think that's enough, though.
Angelelli's 15, 16 seconds behind. We'll have to see what it is when he hits the stripe. And trip down pit lane is around 30. So for Montoya, if he does have to hit pit lane and Max doesn't, he's then in catch-up mode with not much time on the clock. So it's all about fuel right now.
15.1 that lap through. You know, you're talking about Michael Shanks thinking that A.J. can make it. You know, that'd be far-fetched. If he could make it, though, Calvin, he's holding a good car.
Absolutely. Ford has been getting good mileage. BMW has a lot of power here this year. Typically, when you got good power, Dorsey, you're burning fuel.
Absolutely right. That car has been burning more fuel. No doubt on if it comes to a sprint race who's going to win it, but I think this could be a fuel race.